Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Association Transformation. This is Elisa Pratt, Brewer Pratt Solutions. I am flying solo today. Sadly, Andrew, your favorite grumpy old man, is not with us, but I make up for it with a much bigger personality, a much better expert, I'll say, and someone from even farther away than Andrew. So thanks for joining us, Alina Lima. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you're with us. And it's actually probably better that Andrew's not with us. He would just kind of squash our energy.
But hi everyone, and I'm actually a bit sad because it's been a while. I've seen Andrew last time, so it would be great to catch up with him. But well, it is what it is, and I guess we all have busy lives. But I'm not sure
It's probably also better because, he's a bit of an AI naysayer, and not in that it's not important or isn't necessary, but I think he always tells me, he's like, I don't need artificial intelligence. I have my own intelligence. So,
fair enough. It's fair enough.
he likes to use it as a reason to amplify and focus on, kind of the human connection and the human side of it all. But as the founder and principal consultant of MemberBoat, I wonder, how are you helping clients? Digital marketing and member engagement, it's always meant a multitude of things, and now it means even more things. And I wonder, in Australia, if you guys have the magic recipe to develop that perfect member experience. How are you guys solving all these member engagement problems?
Look, I'm not so sure about the secret recipe because we're all kind of in the same boat and all using the same tools, and it's interesting to see. I learn a lot from all the peers from the US and Canada and Europe, obviously, and UK. And it's the same tools all over the world. I don't think we do have quite a few tools here in Australia, but they're just trying to replicate what's done. Look, in our age, all our communications are digital. Like even if we think about the face-to-face event, how many digital touch points our member go through before they go to the event? Most likely they found advertising about the event online, because you don't really do this on TV, or sometimes it can be print, but most likely online. But even if they find this advertising in print magazine, you still send them to your website or scan the QR code, and you still create this digital touch point for people to read more about the event, register for the event, and go through all the experience with your event before they even attended. And then you go to the event and you see, oh, hey, we are face to face. But then what happens if you look at the people, what happens at the event? It's like, hi, are you on LinkedIn? Let's connect on LinkedIn, right? So we're still even connecting face to face. We're still going into this digital world. So,
Right, the digital supplements, the digital kind of
it's
brings it full
always with
circle.
us,
When
right?
you talk about that journey from finding out about an event to going to an event and networking, there was something that you didn't mention, and it makes me wonder, is email dead? Is email a tool of the past?
Absolutely not. Look, in my view, email is number one marketing tool, especially for associations. And to be honest, for anyone, because you still need to. And when I'm talking email, I'm not talking about just the blast of the newsletter to everyone and anything, but it's this personalized communication that you can create with marketing automation at the moment. So, as an example for you, if someone missed out on your event, and this is kind of the post-event touch point, they go to your website and you missed out on the event. So how can I keep updated with the event for the next year? You leave the express your interest for the next year form, and people leave their email and they start keep updated about it. So if next time you have call for speakers, call for sponsors, the email will be the place where they find out about
So
you.
you've already built a roster in that off season.
You build. But what often happens with this is that you have express of the interest form about the conference, people add their email, but what we tend to do is we add this email to our general newsletter list. And then people start receiving everything and anything your association sent. everyday emails about your newsletters, advocacy, mentoring programs, awards programs. And they were like, whoa, I was not interested in all of that. And they unsubscribe. So what happens? They don't hear about your conference next year, even that this is what they were interested in, because you didn't ask them whether they want to receive all these communications from you, and you just started blasting them with the emails. So this personalized communication and delivering people what they want to hear is definitely the key for success. And you just don't lose people.
So all the different channels of information, once you get their email, you still have to ask them what they want, how they want it. Is frequency a factor?
Definitely, yes. Look, yes and no. There are different industries, and in some industries, people more get used to more frequent communication than others. And I will give you an example. If you are a marketer, most likely you will have dozens of different newsletters, because you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in digital world, with all the changes in marketing, because they're just constant. And if one of the companies send you email only once in a while, only once a month, they will be lost, because it's such a noisy world that you have to stay present. However, if you take, for example, Association for Farmers, their audience most likely not get used to this, flood of emails in their inbox. So if you start sending them emails daily or even weekly, they will unsubscribe because they will be overwhelmed. So you need to look at your audience, and you need to see what's happening, because they are certain audiences, it's a certain group of people that you actually have to send them repeated emails to be heard. So it very much depends on the people you work with.
It's so funny you say that, and I think it's something that we often forget, is to think about our members and a day in their life. How often are they in front of their computers? When are they going through this, non-work email or messaging? I worked for a nursing association, and they're not sitting at a home office. They're not checking personal email, and you have to customize your communication strategies to meet the lifestyle of your members.
Definitely. And one of the examples with that, I worked with the paramedic associations, and we were talking about the media that they're using, and channels. And good luck of finding paramedic in LinkedIn, they're just not there. But the timing, when was the most effective to communicate with them? It was 6-7 p.m. This is when they were reading emails, because they were sitting in their emergency departments waiting for their next call, and this is where they were scrolling their mobile phones. But interesting fact, and I worked with them 3-4 years ago, but one of them, their main channel of communication was just guess, Elisa.
Good old-fashioned mail, the post office.
It was Google session fax.
Wow.
Because healthcare systems still were using, I'm not sure what today, but 3-4 years ago, they were still using fax. And because no one is using fax anymore, they were unique in their approach to sending this fax with their member notices. So I was really giggling back then.
That's funny. It's scary you say that, because I just went to a doctor's office and they were supposed to send a report, and I asked them for it, and they said, we'll fax it to you. So I know exactly what you mean. But it's how your members.
So look, it's amazing, because I wouldn't even know how to receive the fax anymore. I have no idea how to use
I didn't either.
this thing.
I didn't either. But you're right. Different industries, different professions, different the different day in the life of your member should determine how and when and how frequently you communicate. Is it true that people's appetites, or maybe it's attention spans, are smaller, that newsletters don't cut it anymore, people don't want multi-page, that you're really having to communicate in tweet size announcements to get them to link onto something more? What's the right amount to get someone's attention?
Again, it very much depends on your audience, and especially if you have multi-generational membership, your younger members will want to receive everything in pictures and just headlines, while your older generation will still want to read. So look, the subject line is the 90% of the success of your email. If your subject line doesn't cut, you might have the best email in the world, but if subject line doesn't cut, and so when you send emails, if you don't run the A/B testing, you probably should, because it's really, really important. But also, coming to AI, this is where our AI can be really, really helpful. And what I do every single day is just, I have an email or newsletter. I copy the text of this newsletter, throw it in ChatGPT and say, can you please provide me 10 options of capturing email subject line for this newsletter? And it just
So how do you know
10.
How do you know which one to pick? It gives you those 10 based on your
And then
expertise.
then you pick, then you just, this is where artificial intelligence doesn't work, right? This is when you need to switch on your brain and, based on your experience, but then also you run A/B testing, and you run, testing and see which one works better. You also know your audience better, you also know what you used last week, and probably don't want to use the same. But yes, but it gives you 10 quite creative and fun options on how you can capture attention of your audience. So definitely use this tool. And then once you, hopefully cut it through with your great subject line, what I usually recommend to my clients is if you have this multi-generational membership, and also if you have a lot of academics in your membership, because these are the people who also like to read more, you put all the important information to the top of your email, with the headlines, with bullet points, with some kind of image, obviously call to action. There is no such a thing as an email without call to action, like a button with a read more, register, do something, right?
Sure.
And then at the bottom of the email, you can put this lengthy reading for those who like to read it. It wouldn't affect your email, that much, or at least for those people who are into this more detailed, and there are still a lot of people who love to read, this read more button is something where they can go and explore. So with your emails and with your digital, and that's why digital is so flexible and so great, because you can take the same content and just put it to the liking of different people. So for example, we are recording this podcast now for those people who like to walk their dog, to drive and listen to the podcast, right? But there will be people who never listen to the podcast. So again, you take the transcript of this podcast, throw it in ChatGPT, it writes you a beautiful article, you tidy it up, you clean it up, you put it on your website to those who like to read. And then you create, again, ask ChatGPT and say, create the captivating social media post, and you just create 4 or 5 bullet points as a, summary of this conversation. 90% of people, probably, just my guesstimate, would only read that social media post with this bullet point, but there will be people who are reading and listening too.
So, I come from the staff side, having spent many, many years as an association staff member. And when we say AI is going to make life easier, AI is a tool, that's great. But what I also hear you saying is that we have to put our information out through every channel in every format to appeal to the different preferences of our members. That sounds like a lot more time and a lot more work. How do you help support small membership departments or small marketing departments? Do you focus first on your most at risk members and then you give attention elsewhere, or is there a way to make it all possible?
To be honest, it's, if you don't do this, you're not going to survive in this day and age, because people are so different. And again, I will mention, if you have multi-generational membership, you have to cater for all of them. It's, when you're saying for those who are more at risk, you basically have to put the priority who are more important members, so those in their 50s, 60s, or those in their 20s, 30s. They're both important. They're both huge, piece of your audience, and they're huge, big segments that you need to cater for. And they just consume information in different ways. And as I said, the AI tool that are now available, they are your virtual assistant that you don't have to pay for. So this is something that really helps to adapt this. Yes, there is still work coming into it. Please Never just copy paste from ChatGPT and throw it on your website. You
Oh,
always have to read and change, and it just gives you the canvas. It just provides you with the framework, for you to. But there is still work, but it's just creating the SOPs, how you work with every content. And one of the example of that is when people put their publications and they say, oh, we need to make our magazine digital. And then they just put PDF on their website. It doesn't work like this, unfortunately. You have to, if you want your content to work, if you want all your piece, just think about that. Are you creating the content just for sake of creating the content? Or are you creating the content for it to be read? If you want it to be read, you have to put it in a readable format. No one is going to flip your PDF magazine on mobile phone, right? Or even on the screen. And then with the content, once you pull this content out of your PDF, the way how you can use this content on a website, on a social, you can create the snippet of the content and then read more. You can only read more if you are a member. There are so many different things that you can actually work with this for your marketing and member recruitment. It's just incredible.
When you said multi-generational memberships need to be catered to differently, or with a certain amount of diversity, does this mean I have to be doing video content? I mean, am I am I behind the times? Do I have to be doing video in one format or another to be relevant to my multi-generational audience?
I can tell you that it will definitely help you with the algorithm. I'm not telling you that there are members who will read or not your videos, but how the technology work, how, if you're on Facebook, on LinkedIn, it will help you to reach people you're not reaching at the moment. That will definitely be helpful. And I will give you a very great, very personal example. In my household, I have only 2 years difference with my husband, right? But he's from the older generation, I can tell you. But saying that, I'm more in this instruction reader. So for example, if we buy the bicycle and we need to put this bicycle together, I will find the PDF instructions and I will read the PDF instructions, while he will find the video on YouTube and he will watch the video on YouTube how to put this bicycle together. We're just so fundamentally
I think there's some
different in
gender
this way.
factors. I think there's some gender factors in addition to age factors in that.
There are also, but what I'm saying is it's just very different. So if you've been delivering your magazine as a PDF, maybe creating videos will help you reach to these members who've been silent and at the back of the room and never consume any content because they just like videos. So yes, it's a great opportunity to reach out to these people.
All of these techniques and tactics that you've discussed, I've had the opportunity to listen to you host the membership marketing school and Association Hub podcast. And there are so many tools, there's so many options and so many tactics, but what are we really trying to achieve as it relates to the ideal member experience? Is it simply renewal? Is it simply joining and renewing? Or is there something new that we've defined in the member experience that is more holistic?
So look, member customer satisfaction, not member, but customer, in our case, it's member satisfaction. It's just a combination of all the experiences you have with the product or any services. So because the lifespan of our member is so long, our customer satisfaction is the combination of little digital touch points that they have with our association. And so that's why we promoted, like with my work in membership marketing school or with my clients, I always look at the holistic member experience journey. So, and this is how we started the podcast. You start with the first step. How do people find about your association? Once they found out about your association, they go to your website. What do they do next? How do they sign up to your newsletter to stay in touch with you? How do you know that they visited your website and how you can introduce yourself better? And once they sign up to your email, this is again about the importance of the emails. How do you create this automation to convert them into the members? Because what happens? You see a conference, you see information about an association, and you're like, I will read about this when I have time somewhere on Saturday. Then you close the tab, you never come back because you don't remember. So how do you create this reminder, with the remarketing, with the emails, so they actually come back to you on that Saturday? Then how do you convert them? Do you, I call this rosy-dosy dating period. How do you show everything that you have before they commit and say, all right, I'm happy for more serious relationship. I'm getting my credit card and here's my membership subscription. Then how do you onboard them? How do you feel them welcome? How do you engage with them? How do you get them renew their membership? And how they can get more involved into your association, how they can volunteer, how they can become committee member and give back. So this whole journey, I don't know, I will be honest with you, I don't know which part of it more important. I always say start with nurture and start with member engagement and member value proposition. Because if you have high attrition rate, it means there is no point to think about your marketing and bring in more people because you cannot fill the leaking bucket. So member engagement and, member, the first question that you need to ask yourself, you have your membership database, your 8,000 people. How many of these members are actually active members? How many of these members read our emails, go to our events, and interact with us somehow? Identifying these members with data, and again, this is what digital marketing provides the opportunity with, to identify these members with data, identifying these members and thinking how we can provide better, personalized, and more relevant and timely experience for these members to get them using our services, because unless they use, they will leave at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, and you're right to talk about satisfaction and participation, and you really have to define what words like engagement mean, because engagement can mean everything and nothing until you put metrics behind it, until you define what you're truly counting.
Yeah. Because what we tend to do is we tend to look at the open rate of our emails or how many people attended our event, at the metrics of the event rather than the metrics of your membership database. So looking at the things like how many people are actually engaged, it's very, very important. And how can I, so this could be your KPI, and creating the member engagement score, and you will never have all 100% super engaged members, and it's normal. But working on these KPIs of increasing the level of engaged members and, decreasing the number of those who never interact with your association is really important.
You described it as a dating relationship. And I think those of us who, are passionate about membership and have spent time in the membership space, we recognize it's a relationship, it's a give and take. But in this, I don't want to say new world, but in the more common occurrences where these relationships begin online, like online dating, how do you then make that shift to in person? When you meet that first time, what's going to be more important, your online dating or that in-person opportunity?
We can, continue our analogy with the online dating. If you go online and the person tells you how great he is and how amazing he is, but then you meet him and he's 20 centimeters shorter than he said, you will be very disappointed.
Right.
This first date. So
you create this perfect experience in digital, and you present yourself in one way, and that digital introduction sets members and prospective members up to have sometimes unrealistic expectations of the size of your organization, of the value you're going to give, of the attention they're going to get.
And look, this is exactly why I'm always saying I'm a big advocate for membership and marketing team working together, because I see a lot that these teams work in silos. And so marketing, you hire amazing marketer and they create this amazing expectation. And then people come in and they are disappointed because membership team is like, oh, no, this is not what we're doing. This is not how it works. And then, you create these great, and that's why I emphasize that the member journey is very important, because you can create a great member experience at the beginning, but then you don't onboard them. Then they sign up and you kind of forget about them up until the renewal, right? So it's really important to walk them through the whole journey. And then, so if expectation don't match with advertised with the reality, people will just drop. And what happens, why it's so crucial, because people spread the word. If people are unhappy, they will go and tell everyone and anyone, don't go there, don't sign up, because I didn't have, this was just waste of time. There is no value there. If they're happy, they will just stay. And this is just our nature. At the same time, I also see other mistake is when associations have great, amazing member value proposition and so many member benefits, but they don't communicate it properly. So everything happens behind the wall and behind the scenes, and people just don't know. And it's great for member retention, but then your member recruitment is going to be not very good. So this balance is always very important.
So here's a scenario, and we like to make sure we send people away with to-dos and ideas and ahas so they can apply these things to their association space. Imagine you're a new CEO, you come into an environment and you recognize that the membership team and the marketing team are not working together. You schedule a meeting with both departments. What is that first question that you pose to both teams to get them on the same page, to get them in sync and working towards mutual success?
Yeah, I actually have an article, and maybe you can put it as a link in episode notes. Do your marketing and membership team work together? Where I create a very convenient framework of, at every stage of member journey, what's the role of marketing and what's the role of membership, and how they can. So in short, membership provides the intel and knowledge and help communicate with members, and marketers using this data and this information creating the marketing materials.
We should definitely include that. Yeah, we'll definitely share that with the association transformation audience, because the other question, and I think smaller associations who don't have two separate departments, I think that same type of experience mapping and member journey discussion can be had by a single team and a smaller staff audience, because it's still highly relevant.
So when we run the member journey workshops, I encourage all members of the team, including board members and CEO, to come together in the same room.
Oh, even board members.
Even board members.
Interesting.
To come into the same room and to see from this member experience from their view. Because often what happens, obviously, admin staff may not understand the bigger picture, but sometimes admin staff can create this because it's them who communicate with our members from day to day.
They're the front lines, yeah.
They are the front lines. And sometimes they may say, members weren't happy about this. And people are like, why we didn't know about this? Why it's not been communicated? But they're just like, I've been doing this on an everyday basis. This is what I do. And they're like, why do you do this? Because it was the handover and this is how we do. But does it have to be like this?
Oh no, this is how we've always done it. Oh no.
Yeah, this is how we always, and it just was the handover instructions. I'm just following the instructions. It happens a lot. So, just reviewing this, what are we doing from this, member journey, sitting down all together, it's very, very useful.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. I think about all the solutions and ideas and best practices that exist in the nonprofit space around the world. And, this summer is an Olympic summer, and we should do a membership Olympics. And have different associations. Yes, I think I can already see Andrew's face. I can imagine him rolling his eyes, but we should have a member engagement Olympics and bring ideas from different countries and different, association markets, because even just hearing how things work in different spaces can, spur new ideas. And I love that. 100%. I know that's what you're about too.
100%. And it's very, very interesting to work with different countries when you have clients in the US and in Europe, and the communication, the cultural communication is so fundamentally different. Absolutely. Because, Americans, they're more sales oriented. They are okay. And if you come to Australia with this sales push, you're not going to go far. So, it's very interesting.
Good to know. All right, we'll tone down the salesy Americanness. But Alina, I'm so glad we did this. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry Andrew wasn't here. He needs all these lessons, believe me. And I know I'll be sharing with him the link to your article about teams coming together. There's just so many ingredients to all this, to that member experience, more tools than ever, but at the same time, more to think about. And it quickly becomes overwhelming to so many. So I encourage everyone to visit us at associationtransformation.org. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Share with us questions and comments on this post, and check out Olina's material and visit her at MemberBoat if she can be of any assistance to you and your membership team. Until next time, put your members and your mission first.